physically. The room exploded, not physically, though for half a second, Solène genuinely thought it might. Aurora was on her feet with a dagger in her hand before Solène had finished stepping through the doorway. Ellie moved almost at the same time, sliding between Solène and Mira with a blade angled low and ready. Mira stood so fast her chair scraped across the floor. Plum simply stared. That was worse. Plum did not scream, did not joke, did not point, did not immediately throw something. She just stared at Solène with wide eyes, like her brain had opened every door at once and found fire behind each of them. Kenny walked calmly into the kitchen. "I'm making tea." Aurora's head snapped toward him. "Dad?" "Yes." "Why is there an enemy captain standing in our headquarters?" Kenny opened a cupboard. "Because I brought her." Silence. Aurora blinked. That answer somehow made everything worse. Ellie tightened her grip on her weapon. Mira's eyes moved between Solène and Kenny. Plum finally made a sound. Not a word. More like a tiny system error. Kenny continued searching through the cupboard. "Where do you keep the proper tea?" Aurora stared at him. "This is not a tea situation." "I respectfully disagree." Solène stood near the doorway, hands visible, heart hammering hard enough to hurt. She had faced artillery, ambushes, boarding actions, execution threats. None of that compared to standing in front of Sparkle Doom while Kenny Reach behaved like he'd brought home an unexpected dinner guest. Aurora stepped forward. Her eyes did not leave Solène. "Explain." Kenny found the tea and turned around. He no longer looked amused, not fully. "Captain." Solène looked at him. He held her gaze. "Explain yourself." The room went painfully quiet. No one sat. No one relaxed. Solène swallowed, then looked at Plum. That was a mistake. Plum's expression was guarded now. The shock had not vanished. It had armored itself. Solène forced herself to speak. "My name is Captain Solène," Ellie said coldly. "We know." Solène nodded. "Right." Her voice nearly failed. She steadied it. "I entered Reach territory under a false civilian identity." Mira's jaw tightened. "I arrived on Everlight 3 weeks ago." Aurora's eyes narrowed slightly. "We weren't there." "I know." Solène looked down for a moment. "I found that out after I arrived." Plum finally spoke. Her voice sounded wrong, small. "You followed us to Unity." Solène closed her eyes briefly. "Yes." The word landed like a stone dropped into water. Plum looked away. Solène hated herself for that. "I was ordered to gather intelligence on Sparkle Doom." Ellie's expression turned colder. "What kind of intelligence?" "Schedules, routes, security, habits, vulnerabilities." Aurora said nothing. Mira stepped forward slightly. "And Plum?" Solène's throat tightened. There it was. No avoiding it, no softening it, no clever wording. She looked at Plum. "I was ordered to get close to you first." Plum's face did not move. Solène continued. "They believed you were the easiest entry point." That got a reaction, not from Plum. From Aurora. Her eyes sharpened into something dangerous. Ellie looked like she wanted to cut the sentence out of the air. Mira's face twisted with disgust. Kenny poured water into the kettle and did not interrupt. Solène forced herself onward. "I was told to earn your trust." A pause. "And when possible," her voice cracked, "kill you." The entire room changed. Aurora moved. Not fully, just half a step. But it was enough that Kenny turned slightly from the kitchen. "Aurora." One word. Calm, firm. She stopped, barely. Her dagger remained in her hand. Ellie had fully raised her blade now. Mira looked horrified. Plum still said nothing. Solène wished Plum would yell. Throw something, laugh bitterly. Anything. The silence was far worse. Solène raised her hands a little higher. "I didn't come here to do that." Ellie snapped. "You came here exactly to do that." "Yes." That answer startled them. Solène nodded again. "I did." No excuses, no hiding. That was the mission. Mira stared at her. And now? Solenne's eyes flicked toward Plum. Now I can't. Aurora's voice came sharp as glass. Can't? Solenne looked at her. Won't. Silence. Kenny quietly placed cups on the counter. Ellie stepped closer. Why should we believe a single word you say? Solenne had expected that question. It still hurt. You shouldn't. Ellie's eyes narrowed. Solenne continued. I haven't earned that. That's the first sensible thing you've said. Mira's voice was quieter but no less sharp. You watched us for weeks. Yes. You followed Plum. Yes. You sent reports. Solenne hesitated, then answered honestly. At first. Mira noticed the hesitation. At first? Solenne reached slowly into her coat. Aurora's dagger lifted instantly. Solenne froze. Pocket. Aurora stared. Kenny spoke from behind them. Let her. Aurora did not look pleased, but she allowed it. Solenne removed a small folded data chip and placed it on the table. These are the reports I sent. Ellie picked it up carefully and inserted it into the nearest reader. Files appeared across the display. Short, sparse, useless. No complete routes, no defense diagrams, no building schematics, no Sparkle Doom movement patterns. Ellie read silently. Then her eyebrows tightened. These are terrible. Plum made the smallest sound. It might have been a laugh. Maybe not. Solenne nodded. I know. Ellie looked at her. Professionally terrible. I know. You were intentionally withholding information. Yes. Mira crossed her arms. Or sending another false trail. Solenne looked at her. Also possible. Mira did not blink. That was fair. Mira knew what houses did. She knew how loyalty could be weaponized. She knew too well. Solenne respected the doubt, even if it made breathing harder. Mira stepped forward. I know what it means to leave a house. Her voice was quiet. But I also know people use pain as performance when it benefits them. The words hit harder because they were not cruel. They were true. Mira's eyes remained locked on hers. So tell me something. Solenne nodded. Mira continued. What makes this real? The room waited. Solenne looked toward Plum. Plum still stood beside the couch, arms wrapped around herself now, no longer holding the snack bowl. Solenne's chest tightened. The mission was easy before I arrived. Her voice became softer. On paper, Sparkle Doom was a target. Plum was a point of weakness. Reach was an obstacle. She swallowed. Then I watched her. Plum looked up. Solenne continued. I watched her buy food and give most of it away. I watched children run to her without fear. I watched her lose practice fights on purpose because it made them brave. I watched her sit beside your memorial statue when she thought no one could see. Plum's eyes widened slightly. Solenne's voice broke. I watched her cry and then smile at the first person who needed her. A tear slipped down Solenne's cheek. She didn't wipe it away. At first I thought I was learning her habits. A pause. I wasn't. Another pause. I was learning who she was. Plum stared at her. The room remained still. Solenne looked back to Mira. That's what made it real. Not guilt. Not fear. Her. Ellie's expression did not soften, but it changed. Slightly. Mira said nothing. Aurora looked toward Kenny. Dad. Kenny finally carried the tray over. Teacups clinked softly. Yes? You believe her? I believe what I saw. Aurora's eyes narrowed. Dawn fruit. Kenny nodded. That single word shifted the entire room again. Mira inhaled softly. Ellie looked toward Solenne with renewed calculation. Plum frowned. What does that mean? Kenny set the tray down. She shared fruit from the mother tree with me. Aurora's grip on the dagger loosened, only slightly. Kenny continued. I saw the order. His eyes moved to Solenne. I saw the assassination command. Solenne looked down. I also saw the last 3 weeks. He turned toward Aurora. The reports she deleted. The lies she sent. The fear. The guilt. The moment she decided she couldn't do it. A pause. And the reason why. Nobody had to ask what the reason was. The silence looked at Plum. Plum went bright red. Then immediately furious about going bright red. Can everyone stop looking at me like I'm a wounded animal? Aurora looked away first. Ellie pretended to inspect the data chip. Mira coughed lightly. Kenny drank his tea. Plum pointed at him. Don't you dare sip tea right now. He paused mid-sip, then slowly continued. Plum made a strangled noise. Aurora took a deep breath, then looked back to Solenn. What does your commander know? That I'm here. Does he know you were caught? No. Does he know you're defecting? Solenn froze. The word struck hard. Defecting. She had thought it, felt it, feared it. But hearing Aurora say it out loud made it solid, real. Defection meant no returning. No hiding. No pretending she had simply lost contact. No slipping back into her old life if fear became too much. Aurora saw the reaction. Her voice became firmer. If you want a chance here. Solenn looked up. Then it starts now. Kenny watched quietly. He did not interfere. This was Aurora's room. Aurora's faction. Aurora's call. Solenn swallowed. What do you want me to do? Aurora stepped closer. Contact your commander. Solenn stopped breathing. Mira's eyes widened slightly. Ellie's expression sharpened with approval. Aurora continued. Right now. You tell him you renounce your position. You renounce your loyalty. You renounce your house. Another pause. You do it in front of us. Plum stared at Aurora. Solenn went cold. Not because she didn't want to, because she knew exactly what it meant. Commander Vare would not simply accept her resignation. He would mark her. Hunt her. Make her name rot inside every military file he controlled. People she had once trained beside might be ordered to kill her. People she had once protected might cheer if he succeeded. Aurora's eyes remained steady. That is the condition. Mira folded her arms. And no coded language. Ellie added, no delay phrases. No hidden location markers. No distress signals. Solenn looked at Ellie. Ellie looked back. I'll know. Solenn believed her. Plum said nothing. That hurt more than any threat. Solenn slowly reached for her communicator. Her hand trembled. She hated that. Still, she activated it. The room lights dimmed slightly as the encrypted channel opened. 1 ring, 2, 3. The display flickered. Commander Vare appeared. His pale eyes sharpened immediately. He was in a dark command chamber. Several officers stood behind him. Not many. Enough. Captain. His gaze moved across the room, took in Aurora, Ellie, Mira, Plum, Kenny. His expression did not change, but his eyes did. Interesting. Solenn forced herself to stand straighter. Vare leaned back slightly. Report. For one final second, every instinct built into her by years of service screamed at her to obey, to explain, to lie, to bargain, to survive. Then Plum shifted quietly beside the couch. Solenn looked at her. Purple hair, guarded eyes, hurt face, the woman she had been sent to turn into a wound. No. Solenn looked back at Vare. My report is that I resign my commission. The chamber on the screen went silent. Vare did not move. Solenn continued before fear could take the words. I renounce my rank. I renounce my position. I renounce my loyalty to your command. His face became very still. I will not carry out the assassination order. Aurora's jaw tightened at hearing it said plainly. Solenn's voice strengthened. I will not kill Plum. Plum looked down. I will not provide intelligence on Sparkle Doom. I will not return. A pause. I no longer serve your house. For 3 seconds Vare said nothing. Then he smiled. Not warmly, not angrily, like a man watching a door close and deciding to burn the building. Little Captain. Solenn's stomach twisted. You believe this is courage? She said nothing. You believe they will protect you? Still nothing. His eyes moved to Plum. How sweet. Aurora stepped half in front of Plum without thinking. Thayer noticed. His smile widened. So the reports were correct. Solenne's skin prickled. Thayer leaned closer to the display. You have not defected. You have malfunctioned. Plum's eyes narrowed. Ellie looked murderous. Thayer's gaze returned to Solenne. I gave you a clean task. Simple. Elegant. Exploit affection. Create grief. Break the symbol. His voice chilled. And instead you became infected by it. Solenne held herself still. You will die for this. No one spoke. Thayer continued. Not quickly. Not privately. You will be recovered. You will be corrected. And when correction fails, his smile vanished. You will be displayed as warning. Solenne's hands shook harder. She clenched them into fists. Thayer noticed. Good. He wanted to notice. Then he looked at Plum. And you? Plum lifted her chin. Thayer's eyes sharpened. Do not mistake this embarrassment for safety. Aurora's dagger slid fully back into her hand. Thayer continued. Captain Solenne's failure changes nothing. Your death is still required. Kenny's teacup touched the table. A tiny sound. Barely anything. Yet somehow the room heard it like thunder. He stepped into view of the transmission. Thayer went silent. Kenny Reach folded his arms. Afternoon. For the first time, Commander Thayer's face showed something real. Recognition. Not fear. Not yet. But calculation. Lord Reach. Kenny tilted his head slightly. I've been listening. So I gathered. Kenny glanced at Solenne. Captain Solenne no longer serves your house. Thayer's mouth curved. She is property of military command until formally released. Kenny's expression did not change. No. The word landed flat. Final. Thayer's eyes narrowed. Kenny continued. She is a defected officer who renounced command in the presence of House Reach leadership. A pause. Her request is witnessed, accepted, and protected. Thayer leaned forward. Protected? Kenny smiled faintly. Yes. The room felt the shift. The temperature of the conversation changed. Kenny's voice remained calm. Captain Solenne now stands under the protection of House Reach. Solenne's breath caught. She had known this might happen. Still, hearing him say it. Something in her chest cracked open. Kenny continued, If you attempt to retrieve her, you will fail. If you send assassins, they will not return. If you threaten Plum again, the smile faded. The Emperor remained. I will take that personally. Thayer's jaw tightened. You overstep. Kenny shrugged. I do that. This matter does not concern Reach. You sent someone to assassinate one of my daughters. Plum blinked. Aurora's face softened for half a second. Kenny kept staring at Thayer. That concerns Reach. Thayer's eyes moved across the room again. You collect broken things and call them family. Mira flinched slightly. Aurora's expression turned murderous. Kenny's voice lowered. Careful. Thayer smiled. There it is. The great weakness. Family. He looked at Solenne. That is how they infect you. That is how they soften you. That is how they make warriors forget what they are. Solenne finally spoke. No. Everyone looked at her. Her voice shook, but it did not break. That's how they remind warriors what they're supposed to protect. Silence. For the first time, Thayer's smile disappeared completely. Solenne stepped closer to the display. You ordered civilians targeted. You ordered children left in evacuation routes. You ordered me to exploit someone who showed more honor in one battle than you have shown in your entire command. Thayer's eyes went cold. Solenne continued. I was loyal to the uniform, not to cruelty. I was loyal to protection, not murder. Her voice steadied. And if that makes me a traitor to your house, a pause, then your house was never worth my loyalty. Plum stared at her. Something changed in her face. Not trust. Not yet. but something. Vare looked at Selene for a long moment, then smiled again. This one was worse. Very well. He sat back. Enjoy your borrowed family. His gaze flicked to Kenny. And enjoy your borrowed protection. Another pause. The next time we meet. He looked directly at Selene. You will beg for death before I permit it. Kenny sighed. You're very dramatic. Vare's eyes snapped back to him. Kenny continued. I've known people who did threats better. Aurora closed her eyes briefly. Dad. Kenny ignored her. If you're going to threaten my family, at least be original. Vare's lips curled. You have made yourself our enemy. Kenny's gaze hardened. No. His voice dropped. You made yourselves mine the moment you targeted my daughters. A long silence followed, then Vare leaned closer. Then war will come. Kenny smiled. It was not kind. Bring more than a scouting party. The connection ended. The display went black. Nobody moved. For several seconds, the only sound was the soft hiss of the kettle still warming behind them. Then Plum said quietly, Well. Everyone looked at her. She stared at the dark screen. He's awful. Mira let out a tiny broken laugh. Ellie lowered her weapon slightly. Aurora did not. Not yet. Solène stood in the center of the room, breathing hard. She looked like someone who had just cut the last bridge behind her and only now realized how cold the river beneath it was. Kenny turned to Aurora. It's your call. Aurora looked at him, then at Solène, then at Plum. The room waited. This was not Kenny's decision. He had made that clear. This was Sparkledoom's home. Aurora's faction, Plum's life, Mira's safety, Ellie's trust. Aurora slowly put her dagger away. Ellie noticed. So did everyone. Solène looked stunned. Aurora stepped toward her. I believe you. Plum's eyes snapped to Aurora. Ellie frowned. Mira looked uncertain. Aurora lifted a hand before anyone spoke. I didn't say I trust her. That settled the room slightly. Aurora continued. I believe she defected. I believe she meant what she said. I believe she would rather die than go back. Her eyes held Solène's. But trust is different. Solène nodded quickly. I know. Aurora stepped closer. You will be monitored. Understood. You will surrender all weapons. Solène immediately removed the knife beneath her coat, then another from her boot, then a compact pistol, then a wire blade from her sleeve, then a flat ceramic shiv hidden beneath her collar. Plum's eyebrows rose. Ellie stared. Anything else? Solène hesitated. Ellie's eyes narrowed. Solène sighed and removed a tiny blade from inside her belt clasp. Kenny looked impressed. Nice. Aurora shot him a look. He lifted his tea. Solène placed the final blade on the table. That's all. Ellie walked over and scanned her. The device beeped once near her left wrist. Solène winced. Tracking capsule. Ellie stared. You were going to leave that? I forgot. Mira looked horrified. Solène added quickly. It can't broadcast through reach shielding unless activated externally. Ellie grabbed her wrist. We're removing it. Yes. Now. Yes. Aurora turned to Kenny. You brought us an enemy spy full of knives and a tracker. Kenny nodded. Former enemy spy. Aurora stared. That is not the point. It feels related. Plum suddenly started laughing. Not loudly at first, just one helpless sound. Then another. The tension in the room cracked around it. Mira laughed next. Then Kenny. Ellie looked annoyed that laughter had become tactically unavoidable. Aurora rubbed both hands over her face. I cannot believe this is happening. Kenny smiled. That's usually how history feels while you're inside it. Aurora pointed at him. No wisdom right now. Fair. Plum stopped laughing and looked at Solène. The room shifted again. Solène went still. Plum walked toward her slowly. Everyone watched. Solène looked prepared for anything. A slap, a punch, a curse, a rejection. Plum stopped in front of her. For a long moment neither spoke. Then Plum said, You're sleeping on the couch. Solène blinked. What? If you're staying? Plum folded her arms. You're earning a bed. Solène stared. You're allowing me to stay? Plum looked away. Didn't say I forgave you. I know. Didn't say I trust you. I know. Didn't say I like you. Kenny took a slow sip of tea. Plum's eyes snapped toward him. Don't. He lowered the cup. Solène nodded. Understood. Plum looked back at her. But you told him no. Solène's throat tightened. You heard that part? I heard all of it. Plum's voice softened despite herself. You told him no. Solène's eyes filled again. I should have told him no sooner. Yeah. The honesty hurt. But Solène accepted it. Plum nodded toward the couch. You're still on the couch. Solène gave the faintest smile. That seems fair. Ellie stepped in. She is not sleeping anywhere until that tracker is removed and every item she owns is searched. Plum nodded. Fine. Mira raised a finger. And we should probably assign guard rotation. Aurora nodded. Agreed. Kenny looked proud. Look at you all. Aurora glared. Do not make this sentimental. I wasn't. You were about to. I was near it. Mira walked toward the medical cabinet to get tools for the tracker. Ellie gathered Solène's weapons into a containment case. Aurora began issuing security instructions. Plum stood awkwardly beside Solène, trying very hard not to look at her and failing every few seconds. Solène stood there, stripped of weapons, rank, house, and orders, terrified, humiliated, alive. Then Plum quietly handed her a cup of tea. Solène looked down at it, then at Plum. Plum shrugged. Kenny made too much. Kenny called from the kitchen. I made exactly enough, Aurora shouted. Stop helping. Solène accepted the cup with both hands. It was warm. Her hands were cold. For the first time since leaving her house, she felt the full weight of what she had done. No going back. No command, no uniform, no mission. Only the uncertain mercy of people she had been sent to destroy. And Plum, standing beside her with folded arms, guarded eyes, and a heart that had somehow not closed completely. Solène looked down into the tea. Her voice was barely above a whisper. Thank you. Plum didn't answer immediately. Then she said, You don't get honey bread yet. Solène looked up. Plum's mouth twitched. Tease the trial version. Solène laughed, small, shaky, real. Across the room, Aurora looked toward Kenny. He looked back with a faint smile. She sighed. You are a nightmare. Kenny nodded proudly. Effective, though. Outside, Unity continued moving beneath the afternoon sun. Children laughed in distant streets. Rootkeepers waddled through gardens. Ships crossed the sky between worlds. And inside Sparkle Doom headquarters, an enemy captain took her first sip of borrowed tea, while the people she had betrayed decided whether she might become something else. Not trusted, not yet, not forgiven, not even close, but alive, protected, and no longer alone.